back again with another video, and it's crazy to think that it's already September. This whole summer is just winding down, and it's just kind of mind blowing to me that it's already getting into September. Summer almost over, but I honestly can't complain. I have had a great summer. I've had a blast going to shows. Probably my best summer of going to shows, I would say. For me personally, I saw two Dave Matthews shows, two Smashing Pumpkins shows, Ben Folds Cake. I saw Randy Bachman, Styx, Joan Jett, and of course I got to see Pearl Jam. Finally got to see Pearl Jam, and I definitely cannot complain. I have a ton of clips from some of those shows on here as well. A lot of songs, so definitely check those out. Of course, I got Smashing Pumpkins. I saw them on I think it was the 17th of August. It was the day before I went to Pearl Jam. I saw Smashing Pumpkins here. The first time I saw them on this tour was in Louisville, which was earlier on in the tour. And I have to say that they seemed to be more kind of on point in Indy. At least I seem to enjoy it more myself. And I think a part of it could be just where I was setting. I kind of like I was mid-level, corner of the stage in Indianapolis, and in Louisville I was like the first row off the floor behind the soundboard, and Louisville was a lot more empty than in Indianapolis. There's just rows, and their whole balcony in Louisville was like sectioned off, and my whole row, I think there might have been two other people in my row, and the rest of it was empty. It's kind of crazy to me. And then the Smashing Pumpkins have been putting on a great show. Indianapolis was a lot more fuller. Really the only like side balcony parts were trapped off. The balcony closer to like the center of the stage was still open, and it was pretty full. I'd probably say it was like about 80-85% full. And I know they were doing like deals to get tickets, like 4 tickets for $90 and stuff like that, and giving away a lot of tickets and contests and stuff. So it didn't seem like it was that hard to get, but they did do a pretty good job of filling it up mostly. But just a tremendous show again. I think part of the problem is them going to arenas. So the previous 2 times I saw Smashing Pumpkins before the indie show, the Louisville show, I saw them at the Egyptian Room in 2015, and granted it was pretty much just Billy Corgan being the only original member of the band then, and that's not a very big venue at all. And then I saw them the second time in 2016 at the Louisville Palace, which is a little bit bigger than the Egyptian Room, but still not quite the size of like the KFC Yum Center or Bankers Life Fieldhouse. And by that time Jimmy Chamberlain had rejoined the band, so each time I saw them an original member would come back. But just a tremendous show nonetheless. A great fun show that the Smashing Pumpkins put on, and hopefully we'll be able to catch some more shows from them in the near future, and hopefully they change up some stuff. It was kind of a little bit of a bummer that both Smashing Pumpkin shows I went to the exact same set list, but it seemed like the crowd was more into it in Indianapolis as well, so that was definitely a lot more fun, made it a lot more fun. Kind of seemed like there was more of an energy, but nonetheless, still both of them just great shows overall. But I do have some, like I said, I probably 5 or 6 Smashing Pumpkin songs from that show on here, and I'm sure if you YouTube more, you probably find more. But that fun show. And then the day after that, I went to Chicago to see Pearl Jam, which honestly a dream come true to finally see Pearl Jam in the flesh. I was lucky enough last year to see Eddie Vedder just solo in Louisville at the Bourbon and Beyond, and that was just a tremendous experience in itself. But definitely kind of like seeing Pearl Jam was like that experience amplified times 10. But just going to Chicago, first time, every time I've been to Illinois, it's usually smaller towns in Illinois, or like Rosemont for WWE shows. I've gone a couple of times there. Being in actual like downtown Chicago and the Wrigley area, was just a really cool experience. And definitely wish I would have filmed some stuff while I was there, but honestly didn't even think about it. I was just more of in the moment, and just having a really good time myself to even think about really filming a whole lot of my adventure. But I think it would have been cool if I would have done that, but maybe next time. But just a tremendous fun weekend. I wish I could have gone to the Monday show as well, but just it being on a Monday, there's just no way I was going to be able to get off of work that many days. But feel very fortunate that I was able to attend the Saturday show. I mean, it's like every time, just Pearl Jam, easily my favorite band, but also the band that's always kind of eluded me from being able to see. And just being in Indiana, they don't really come here that often. The last time they came here was 2010. And then the time before that was like 2003 and 2000, like, or maybe 98. But in 98 and 2003, I mean, I was so small and little, I didn't even probably care about going to concerts at that point. In 2010, I just couldn't afford to go. But some things always kind of came up as to why I couldn't go. And then finally, I had the opportunity, and I definitely took it to get... see Wrigley. I got tickets to the 10 Club, and I mean, I thought they were pretty good seats. I definitely cannot complain. I felt very fortunate enough to even just be in there, and I honestly have to really thank my friend Chris, because without him I would have been totally just lost around how to get around it down in Chicago. Luckily I got to meet him up there, and I've known him for a couple years now, actually, through the 10 Club forums and the Pearl Jam, being a fan of Pearl Jam, just becoming friends with him. And it's actually that poster right behind there, which is kind of buried now because of that shelf. But I actually bought that poster from him on the 10 Club message board, so like probably almost over 2 years ago now. And when I didn't realize he actually lived so close to me at the time, and instead of him shipping, I just met up with him. And really, ever since that, we've become pretty good friends. And met him, and he's been to Wrigley. Every time they've been to Wrigley, he's been. So luckily, he was kind enough to show me around, and I just kind of followed him around, and we just kind of hung out before the show, and just had a good time. And we actually, the day after the show, we woke up like at 5:30, 6 in the morning, and took the train up to Wrigley to wait in the Pearl Jam merch line, which seems insane, but it was just a really fun time, honestly, just being up there with all the other Pearl Jam fans and just talking to people and getting to meet people. It was just a really cool experience. But we stood in line we got there probably at 6:30, and there might have been probably 12, 13 people ahead of us that were even crazier to get there even earlier. But the merch line didn't even open up till noon, and we got there at like 6:30, so we were waiting in line for a good while. But I got everything that I wanted in the merch line. I picked up this shirt. Of course, I had to pick up the Settler shirt. Of course, I had to get a couple pairs of Pearl Jam socks. Always had to get the hats when you go. Coasters. Of course, Pearl Jam trading cards, had to get a couple of packs of those. And of course, they came in really cool packages like that. But, it's definitely probably not a good thing for me, being a huge Pearl Jam fan, just being around all that Pearl Jam merchandise. It was definitely like a kid in a candy store. But just a great time. And just a really fun weekend. I definitely cannot wait to see them again, hopefully in the very near future. Just a great experience. And then the week after Pearl Jam, I saw Cake and Ben Folds. Slightly different experience for sure. Did a couple things there. These really cool Ben Folds cleaning glasses. Got like 4 or 5 of those. Or some Ben Folds socks, and the Cake and Ben Folds tour shirt with all the dates on the back. And I honestly have to say, I mean, the shows were great. Ben Folds and Cake definitely doesn't necessarily live up to the hype of Pearl Jam. I mean, Pearl Jam was like up here. I mean, my high of seeing Pearl Jam definitely wasn't match Cake and Ben Folds, but I've seen Ben Folds before. Always puts on a tremendous show. When he was playing Rockin' in the Suburbs, he broke a piano string and kind of improvised for a little while, and then went back into it, which I actually have that full song on this channel with him doing that, so definitely check that out. Cool show. Cake, they sounded great. I mean, they played, for the most part, everything that I would have liked to hear. I definitely would have liked to hear more. They only played 11 songs, and it was a little bit of a disappointment into the fact that they only played 11 songs, and they were supposed to be like the headliner. A lot of people kind of seemed to leave a little upset at that, but the songs they did play, they sounded good. It just seemed like they did a lot of talking and just doing stuff like that. But I mean, I've never seen Cake before, and honestly, Cake is a band that I've wanted to see, just being a fan of their stuff, and I'd probably see him again. But definitely a little bit of disappointment at seeing, Smashing Pumpkins playing 30 plus songs, and seeing Pearl Jam play 30 plus songs, and then Cake, playing 11 songs. And I get that there's a curfew, but I mean, they definitely could have probably squeezed 4 or 5 more songs in there. They just cut out some of the talking, but nonetheless, I'm not going to complain about it. It was still a fun time, still a good show. But do have one more show that I actually have tickets to in my hand left this month. It's Local H, Pack Up the Cats tour. Super looking forward to that. That's going to be a great show. I got to see Local H kind of like on a pre-warm-up show. They played for free, which I got some clips of that on here as well. I talked about that in the previous video. So, but looking forward to that. I'm sure there's probably some more shows I will go to. I really want to go to the Ozzy Osbourne show coming up here in a couple of weeks. I don't have tickets to it yet, but probably be a last-minute decision. But I'm going to stop talking. I'm sure I probably forgot to show some stuff that I picked up. I do got some Pearl Jam posters too over here that I'm not going to take out, because I still need to get frames for them, so I don't want to take them out too much. But I feel like I've just babbled on just way too much. But definitely just a great summer of going to concerts. But on to the vinyl finds now. The first record I'm going to show is, of course, the new Alice in Chains album, A Rainier Fog. I just really enjoyed this album. Just a great album from Alice in Chains. And honestly, when this came out, I figured it would have been pretty easy to find, and I couldn't find it anywhere. Barnes & Noble didn't have it. I went to Vinyl Rescue Project, they didn't have it. I called up to up to Irvington Vinyl, and they didn't have it. Honestly, I feel like they didn't even know who they were, but they told me they might get it in like 2 weeks. But I eventually found it at FYE, of all places, and honestly really am not a big fan of buying albums at FYE. And honestly, before I could buy it at FYE, I bought it on Discogs, so I actually have a sealed one, but I found it at FYE before it came in the mail. But I'm not really a huge fan of going to FYE just because of past bad experiences there, which I don't really want to get into right now, but definitely had to pick it up and listen to it. I couldn't wait for the other one to come in the mail, but really solid album. Probably one of my favorite albums that's come out this year. I mean, that and the Dave Matthews, both very good albums in my opinion. See, the next few albums I got are albums that I got at Half Price Books. Edge of the Century by Styx. This is a newer Styx album. It came out in 1990. It's a Styx album that I don't see very often at all. So I picked it up relatively cheap. I mean, I don't really show a lot of Styx albums in my collection just because I honestly got a lot of that stuff before I started doing videos. But so there's no reason for me to pick up stuff that I already have. But definitely a Styx album I didn't have, so I picked that up. And like I said, I saw these guys. I think it was in July. I saw them with Joan Jett and Tesla, and it was a pretty fun show. Can't complain. And I also picked up Thin Lizzy, Thunder and Lightning. Love Thin Lizzy. An album I just really don't see that often. So I had to pick that one up. Great songs on there. And these are some albums I picked up at the Vinyl Rescue Project. Of course, this is one that I honestly kind of took a chance on. It's Gone in 60 Seconds, Brimstone and Bottle Rockets, which I think this is the only album that they ever came out with. It came out in 1992. I listened to it the other day. It's not that bad. Definitely have to listen to it again. But I enjoyed it on the first listen. Very cheap. Definitely worth taking a chance on. And I, of course, had to pick up the new Green River Come On Down reissue. I do have an earlier reissue from like '89 of this album that I found probably about a year or two ago at Half Price Books, and this one does have a few demos and stuff on it, and it is on colored vinyl as well. It's on this pink translucent vinyl. And I actually haven't listened to this pressing yet. I probably will actually do that tomorrow or later tonight, but definitely had to pick that up. And the next few albums I have to show are actually ones that I bought online. I actually bought this one on eBay. I was just actually browsing around on eBay, and I found this for very, very cheap. And it's just a single picture disc, Pearl Jam, Jeremy, this picture disc, and the B-sides Footsteps Live and a live. You know, it was cheap, and I saw it on there, and I bought it just to add to the Pearl Jam collection. And I also picked up speaking of Pearl Jam, I got another Pearl Jam album to show. Orpheum Theater, Pearl Jam. Just came out on Friday from Newberry Comics. I just got it in the mail. And originally came out in the Versus box set that you had to get. You can only get it in the box set, which I actually never bought the box set. And it was on the Pearl Jam website forever, and then when I kind of wanted to get it, it was no longer available, of course. But and this is not the complete concert. I think they had problems recording it all and fitting it all on tape, so some of it just did not get recorded. But this is the Newberry Comics exclusive one. I don't know how many they actually pressed. I know they had 100 on like red and blue colored vinyl that was just randomly inserted. I just got the black one, of course. I think it just sold out on their website the other day. But I mean, it was on there for, probably over a month that you could pre-order it. But it's got Oceans, Even Flow, Sonic Reducer, Immortality, Glorified G, Daughter, Not For You, Rats, Blood, Release, Tumor Christ, Once, Fucking Up, Dirty Frank, Review Mirror, and Small Town. So the songs they do have on there, solid. And I've heard the CD of this before. I actually have the CD of this, but I don't have the first time I've had the vinyl because I don't have the box set. So definitely cool to add that into the Pearl Jam collection as well. Wish it was a complete show, but it is what it is. In the last album I'm going to show here is the new Brother or Brother EP. Again, I saw these guys back, and these guys are a local band. I mean, they're just like right from around the same area where I'm from. I actually saw the lead singer of this guy going to the Smashing Pumpkins show. But they're just a great band. I highly recommend checking them out. They do their own records. They press their own records. They do different colored variations and just really cool stuff all the time for all their stuff. And the one I have I'm going to show is actually covered in Nerds. There's actually Nerds, like the Nerds candy, filled inside this record. It's very thick and heavy as well, but it's just a really, really cool album. But there's Nerds in there. And you can listen to this whole EP on their website for free. They sound amazing. A two-piece band. Definitely definitely recommend checking them out though. Just a really cool sounding pressing. But you know, the album is honestly just so heavy that it almost doesn't like fit onto the turntable. But kind of more of a novelty thing. But I mean, it doesn't sound bad either. I mean, they do a really good quality control. So definitely check this at their new EP out, Brother or Brother Monster Truck. It's got 6 songs on it. So definitely check that out. And that's all the stuff I have to show, and really all the stuff I have to talk about. Hopefully this video wasn't too long and boring and drawn out, but honestly, I hope everyone had as good as a summer that I have had. And anyway, until next time, I'll see you guys, and I hope everyone has a great day, and I will see you hopefully sooner than later.